A few years ago, actually more than 20 years ago, I'm afraid, I read this book, sci-fi story, Spanish writer named Rosa Montero. And the original title is something like Tremor. I believe the English translation is Tremble. However, because it's not translated into Swedish, and I actually read it in Danish while residing in Denmark for a period of time, and the Danish title is something like Glemsens Toll, which would be translated into Myths of Oblivion, something. And it's a story about a young woman or adolescent whose name is Cold Water. And the story is set in some rather distant future, some post-apocalyptic world in a serious state of decay. And she is raised to become some kind of priest. So she grows up in some kind of monastery-like environment. The main building is some kind of tower, and at the end of her education, might be like her last day or something, and soon to become an actual priest, low-level priest of some kind. And there's something that she's supposed to receive for that. And this tower has some kind of circular room structure, one room within the other, 7 circles. So the 7th room is the innermost one. And having entered room number 6, this older high priest stops to carry out this form of procedures, and Cold Water hesitates. Shouldn't we enter the innermost room? Well, this is one. No, it's not really, because there are 7 circles. No, 6 circles. How come? Why have you locked the innermost one? No, there really is any more rooms than this one. This is the final innermost circle. I have been raised here. I've been living here for years, and I know that there are 7 circles. Actually, there are 6 circles. There have never been more than 6 circles. You are lying to me. Dare not call me a liar or something. And Cold Water insisting that there have always been 7 rooms gets punished for this physically. She has one of her fingers cut off as a marker that she has committed some kind of crime. And I don't remember, maybe she's thrown out this organization, or I do believe that she escapes. And obviously she needs to get away from this very neighborhood, because everyone knows her, so she will not be safe. As long as there are people within this priesthood who had recognize her. So her journey begins, Odyssey, and there is some peculiar phenomenon in this world called the mist of Oblivion. And you may sometimes become trapped within this, and having come that far, there's really no way out. It's just like solid white emptiness. And if getting out, I believe that's something that your brain is drained. And I believe that's something that they are growing bigger or becoming more frequent, something like that, and threatening the whole world. And on her odyssey through the world, she encounters some kind of wild tribe. Some people are living at more or less Stone Age level, and they seem to be immune to these mists of oblivion. They do not even seem to notice them. They can pass through them without disappearing or suffering any kind of damage. And Cold Water also notices this, and comments upon it's as if they do not have the imagination required to become affected. These people, members of the wild tribe, they are not in any way romanticized. They are in many ways brutes, but there's also this feature that they are not infected by this kind of highly civilized stupidity, the ability of ignoring the obvious or falling victim of your some inner spooks. They're very much down to earth, low levels of dopamine, I imagine. And Coldwater has some kind of plan for saving this dying world, and the plan does include these wild tribes. And I don't remember how things actually end up, and wouldn't like to spoil the story to anyone. But that's not really my point. My point is that there are some rather relevant references to our world, our time, which I believe I wasn't really aware of when reading this as a 27-year-old kid. Some of it has lately become very obvious, I would say.